All right, so today I'm going around my yard looking for some black raspberry suckers. So as you can see behind me, I have black raspberries, and I'm loving how vigorous they grow here in Missouri. And so I'm going to be transplanting a bunch of these tip-rooted suckers around my yard. So come join me in the chaos. All right, in case you're not sure what I mean by tip-rooted, so if you look here, and I'll move the camera closer here in a second, but I just want to make sure you can kind of see all this is black raspberry right here. And the main plant is actually back where the tip of my shovel is. And all these canes this year grew and just kind of sprawled themselves all over the place. And each of these spots, see you can see the cane going into the ground here, or here, or here, and then a few other spots around here. You get the idea. Those spots where they're touching the ground, they don't move anymore. Like if I pull on them, they're stuck. And the reason they're stuck is because those roots have, those tips have grown roots, and they're trying to create a new plant. This is one of the ways that this particular plant reproduces, is by sending these out, and then these will be clones of that. So if you love the fruit of your black raspberry in this case, or I mean blackberries and raspberries, boysenberries, all that stuff's pretty much the same type of plant. Those tips create new plants. So if you want more plants, you want to spread those out, this is the way to do it. And that's what I'm doing right now. Dig this guy up. Ooh, that moved. Hopefully I didn't damage that. So depending on how heavily rooted it is, you want to give it a little bit of space. And then I like to use a spade. I don't know if I talked about that yet. I probably didn't. So this is a spade. A spade is skinnier and longer. And the reason I prefer these is you're able to get more roots, just in case the roots are kind of deep. And you can get below and around the roots, and then you can kind of push them up without damaging them too much, at least from my experience. And they're a little bit easier to push in. Like here I have mulch, and it's kind of coarse mulch. And so these big chunks of mulch will kind of stop the shovel. If I have like a wide shovel, a real skinny shovel goes in pretty easy with minimal effort. And then I can kind of try to get underneath it. And you just kind of like bounce it just to see if you can try not to tear too many roots. And just by looking at it, I can see there's a nice little cluster there. Looks like the root mass kind of goes to the front here. Trying to make sure I don't hit on my garlic, because I had some garlic that was starting to sprout in the house, so I just kind of planted it all over in this area. Yeah, that's a pretty big cluster of roots. What kind of bad moving that? I just don't want it coming any closer to my driveway. Kind of want it to stay back there. Wow, that's a nice cluster. So usually you'll want to use some pruners. I'm not sure where my pruning shears went, so I'm just going to use a box cutter or utility knife, whatever you want to call it. And I like to give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. 6 nodes in this case. Doesn't really matter, because most likely what's going to happen next year is this part, it may get a couple little side branches off of it, but most likely that's just going to die back, and then it's going to send up new little baby suckers out the bottom. That's what I've seen when I usually do this procedure. So we are in December, and somehow the black raspberry is able to continue vegetative growth through freezing days. Like we got down to like 21 degrees or something yesterday, and it's still growing. A lot of my other blackberries and stuff have lost their leaves because it's been cold, but black raspberry is crazy hardy here, at least this particular variety. So I don't know what it is. It just kind of grows wild and stuff on my property. Has a huge root cluster for something that just rooted this year. But that's all you do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this into my backyard somewhere I don't have anything. Like along my fence, it's just kind of nothingness of as far as fruiting plants. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the ground back there. I like to have these thorny type things along my fence to kind of discourage, anyone from wandering into my yard, or my dogs from messing around near the fence too much. But anyway, I hope this helps you to clone your delicious raspberry, black raspberry, or I mean, it even works with like boysenberry, like I said, or marionberry. It's all pretty much the same procedure. But I just noticed this particular, I could call it chaos black raspberry because I don't really know if it's an improved variety. I just know that it just kind of pops up like a weed here. So anyway, thanks for joining me in the chaos.